Greetings once again and welcome. This is results-oriented preparation. Again, in today's video, we are looking at the second installment of dynamics of markets. And just like as we did in the last one, we're looking at perfect competition. And in perfect competition, we are looking at the individual business operations of a single business unit. So in today's video, we are going to concentrate a little bit on revenue and cost curves that relate to an individual unit in perfect competition. I hope that you will enjoy this one, and as such, please do help with liking the video, sharing the video, as well as subscribing if you have not yet subscribed, so that as many people as possible can have access to this content. Thank you. All right, this graph here shows the revenue and cost curves for an individual firm in perfect competition. Now, remember when we did the introduction of the demand for a single business unit in perfect competition, we know that this horizontal line represents the demand, which is also equal to the price and also equals to the average revenue and the marginal revenue of a firm that is in a perfectly competitive industry or sector. Now, the reason we say that, the reason why we have a horizontal demand line is because this firm here is a price taker. So the market price here has already been determined by the industry supply and demand, and as the firm enters into this market, the firm accepts the already predetermined price and then sells at this price. As you can see, P1 is equals to AR is equals to MR and is equals also to demand. There is equals to demand. All right, okay, so as you can see, we have introduced here cost curves, which we previously did not have. We only had the revenue curves. Now the cost curves that are introduced, one is the marginal cost, and secondly is the average cost. Now, to explain just a bit, when we're talking about average cost, we know that average costs are the costs that are incurred for producing a single unit. So average cost is equals to total cost divided by the quantity that is produced. So that way we are finding the cost per unit, per single unit that is produced by this particular firm. And then the other cost here, as you can see, we've got the marginal cost. Now the marginal cost is the change in total cost when an additional unit of output is produced. So you've got change, which is delta, change in total cost when you change output, okay, or when you change the quantity that is produced. So as the quantity produced increases, the total cost also increases, and that is reflected by marginal cost, additional cost over what already has been produced. And then AR, there we say that AR stands for average revenue, right? So the average revenue again is the revenue for a single unit, so it's total revenue divided by the quantity, which means for every unit that has been produced, there is a certain revenue that is acquired by the firm. Every quantity or unit that is sold, because we get revenue from selling our output, then we get what is known as the average revenue, which is your total revenue divided by the cost. And then the last one there being your marginal revenue. Again, marginal revenue is the additional revenue that you get from selling an additional unit of output. That is why we have here change in total revenue divided by the change in quantity, okay? So change in total revenue divided by the change in quantity will give you the marginal revenue. And as I've said, the marginal revenue is the additional revenue that you get from selling an additional unit of output. So these four main variables are the ones that we're going to be dealing with when we're talking about costs as well as when we're talking about revenue. Please take note: average revenue, average cost, total cost, marginal cost. Again, with revenue, average, we've got average revenue, total revenue, okay, against total cost, and then marginal revenue against marginal cost. Okay, so if you are looking then at how an individual firm decides its production, we are saying that if you look closely here, you will see the combination or between cost and revenue and the firm deciding exactly where to position itself. The point E there is our equilibrium point, and at this point, as you can see, you've got marginal cost being equals to marginal revenue. We call that point the profit maximizing point. So the profit maximizing point, I'll write it here, MR is equals to MC, right? Marginal revenue is equals to marginal cost. This is called the profit maximizing point. So at any point in its production unit, if the firm wants to maximize profit, it must produce at that equilibrium point. All right. So meaning that when the firm decides to produce to the right or to the left of the equilibrium point, then there are certain repercussions which we're just going to talk about right now. Okay, so I want you to notice this, but we're still going to go in depth when we're looking at short-term and long-term equilibrium for perfect competition. Okay, now this actually happens in the short term because, as you can see, this is the marginal and average revenue, right? And this is the average cost and the marginal cost. So if the firm produces here, if you take that point, right, then you can have the differences in cost and revenue. You see, revenue is above cost, okay? Revenue, which is average revenue here, is above average cost, which is at that point here. So it means that the firm makes what is known as an economic profit. But if you go to the right of this point, at any point this side, you will see that your average cost and marginal cost are now higher than the average revenue and marginal revenue. Then on the right of the equilibrium, the firm will make what is known as economic loss. To the left, the firm also reduces, but the firm can still make a profit here. But what we want is, we want a situation whereby the firm positions itself on the left side in order to make sure that the revenue is always above the cost. Okay, so hence A is our profit maximizing point, which is marginal revenue equals to marginal cost. We are going to go in depth with this in the upcoming videos. I really hope you tune in. Please do remember that the channel really needs your support. Do like the videos, share and subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. And again, early preparation equals excellent results. This is results oriented preparation. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.